So you're scrolling through the dark, and bam, there's a spider glowing like a disco ball. How does it even find its way around? You know those glow in the dark stickers? Well, these spiders have their own version of that. But instead of sticking to a wall, they stick to the dark. They don't need a flashlight, but they still need to know where they're going. So how do they not get lost in the dark? Maybe they're just super chill and don't mind the dark. Or maybe they use the moon like a lighthouse. Either way, it's weirdly fascinating. So, what's the real trick? Are they just glowing because they're magical? Or is there a science reason behind it? So what exactly are we talking about? We're not talking about spiders that glow like disco balls. We're talking about spiders that glow like, I don't know, a faint light in the dark. Like a tiny, spooky flashlight. These are your average garden variety spiders. These are glow-in-the-dark spiders, like the kind that show up in your closet after midnight and try to scare you. But they're not scary, they're just glowy. Maybe they're using their glow to see other spiders, like a spider version of a flashlight. Or maybe they're just using it to scare off predators, like, hey, don't mess with me, I'm lit up and I'm not afraid to glow in your face. But the real question is, how do they even glow in the first place? Do they have a built-in light bulb, or are they just glowy spiders with a weird evolutionary twist? So we're diving into the mystery of glow-in-the-dark spiders, not because they're magical, but because they're basically spiders with a built-in flashlight. And we're here to find out how they use that light to survive in the dark. Okay, you think spiders are just creepy little critters? Well, imagine if your favorite snack was also a secret ninja. They're not just crawling around there like the spider version of a GPS. You should care because these little guys are basically tiny, glowing, spider-shaped GPS satellites. And here's the kicker. They're not just glowing for show. They're using that light to find their way around, like a tiny lantern in the dark. It's like if your phone had a glow stick and a compass. Who knew spiders had such cool tech? So next time you see a spider, don't just squish it. You're basically looking at a tiny, glowing, spider-shaped GPS that's way cooler than your phone. You should care because it's like a superhero in your kitchen. And you've never even noticed. And honestly, if spiders can navigate in the dark with glowing eyes, what else are they capable of? Maybe they're just waiting for us to realize we've been missing out on a whole world of creepy, cool spider tech. So yeah, glow-in-the-dark spiders? They're basically tiny, glowing, spider-shaped GPS satellites. And you should care because they're way cooler than you think. Now go check your kitchen for a tiny superhero. So, glow-in-the-dark spiders? They're basically like, I'm not really glowing, I'm just being glowy for the sake of it. Well hey, they've been around way longer than your last breakup. Back in the day, when dinosaurs were just starting to flex, these spiders were like, I'm not the most flashy, but I've got the night shift down to a science. They've been navigating through the dark for millions of years, basically doing what they do best. Being creepy and cool without any extra lighting. Some say they evolved to be glowy so they could find their way around without getting eaten. Others say it's just a fashion statement. Who's to say? Either way, they've been doing their thing long before you even had a bedtime story. So, basically, they're the OG glow up. So imagine you're a spider, and it's pitch black in your web. You can't see anything, but somehow you still find your way around. It's like trying to walk through a dark tunnel with your eyes closed, but you don't fall over. You just glow. But wait, not all spiders glow. Only some of them have the special glowy stuff. It's like if you had a tiny light bulb inside your body, but it's not super bright. It's more like a faint flashlight in a dark room. So how do they use this glow? Well, it's not like they're using it to light up the whole room. It's more like they're using it to see themselves. It's like if you put a light on your head and use it to see your own shadow. They use their own glow to find their web. But here's the twist. They don't actually see the glow. They feel it. Like if you put a hot light on your skin, you can tell it's there without looking. Their bodies are sensitive to the glow, so they can feel their way around. So basically, glow-in-the-dark spiders are like little glowing robots that can feel their own light. They use it to navigate, not to light up the dark. It's kind of like having a glow stick that helps you not trip over your own legs. So, first things first, glow-in-the-dark spiders don't actually glow. They just absorb light and then slowly release it like a glow stick. It's like if a glow stick had a job and got fired, but kept glowing anyway. They're not like fireflies who actually make light. These spiders are more like, light sponges. They soak up the sun or flashlight, then starts glowing like a disco ball when it's dark. So they're not using the glow to navigate. They're using it to mark their territory or maybe to scare off other spiders. Like a glowy sign that says, I'm here and I'm not a pushover. But here's the kicker. The glow doesn't last forever. It's like a glow stick that runs out of juice. So they gotta be careful not to glow too long or they might end up looking like a ghost in the dark. So, in short, they're like nature's glow sticks. They absorb light, glow for a while, and then well, they're just a spider who got a little too excited about the sun. So they don't just glow, they also have these super sensitive eyes that can see in the dark like a night vision camera. It's like they're wearing glow sticks and binoculars at the same time. But wait, how do they tell which way is up? They use gravity, like a built-in compass. They basically go, okay, I'm not upside down, I'm still in the web business. They also use the moon and stars as a kind of celestial map. It's like they're stargazing but with 8 legs and a lot of patience. And here's the kicker, they can glow in different colors, which helps them find mates or scare off predators. It's like a spider version of a neon sign. So basically, they're like nature's own glow stick superheroes, using light, sight, and gravity to zip around like they're in a spider sense action movie. Okay, so they're not just glowing like a neon sign. They're actually using the light to trick other spiders. It's like when you put a glow stick in a jar and pretend it's a firefly. They use their glow to look cooler, like a spider version of a fashion statement. But here's the twist, they're not just glowing, they're also reflecting light. Imagine if your phone screen was a mirror, but for spiders. They're basically turning their body into a disco ball for the dark. This reflection helps them see other spiders, kind of like how you can see your face in a mirror but also see your reflection in a window. It's like a spider version of a mirror, but with more webbing. So they're not just glowing to look cool, they're using it to communicate. It's like a spider's version of a flashlight on a night out. They're basically saying, hey, I'm here and I'm not a regular spider. And the best part? They're doing all this without any extra equipment. Just a little glow and a lot of cleverness. Like a spider that's also a master of light shows. So, like, if you think glow-in-the-dark spiders are just party animals, you're wrong. They actually use their glow to navigate. It's like having a tiny flashlight in your web, but way cooler. They're not just glowing for show. Their glow helps them find their way around. Kind of like how your phone uses a flashlight to see in the dark. But with more spider vibes. The glow is actually a type of bioluminescence, which means they make their own light. It's not like a battery-powered light-up sticker. It's more like they're tiny glowing light bulbs made of spider guts. Scientists think they might use the glow to communicate with other spiders too, like a spider version of a flashlight Morse code. But I'm not sure if they're sending messages or just trying to look cool. In the end, glow-in-the-dark spiders are basically nature's version of a glow stick with a PhD. They're using their glow not just to light up the dark, but to survive, navigate, and maybe even chat with their spider squad. So next time you see a glow-in-the-dark spider, don't just stare. Maybe it's trying to tell you something, or maybe it's just trying to look cool. Either way, it's a spider with a lightbulb moment. Thanks for watching, and remember, the world is full of glow-in-the-dark things. Just don't blame the spiders if you get lost in the dark. So imagine you're walking through a pitch-black room, but you're not carrying a flashlight. Instead, you've got this weird glowing backpack that only lights up when you trip over something. That's basically what these spiders are doing. They're not seeing the walls, they're feeling them. They're not using light to find their way. They're using light to know when they've messed up. Like a glowing traffic cone on your head. It's not navigation, it's a warning system. So the glow isn't for seeing, it's for signaling. Like if you had a neon sign on your forehead that said, I'm a spider and I'm about to fall. It's not helpful, but it's honest. It's like if your phone screen only lit up when you dropped it. You wouldn't use it to find your way, you'd use it to know you were being careless. That's these spiders. So the glow isn't a superpower, it's a mistake. A beautiful, glowing mistake that helps them survive. Like a firefly that accidentally invented a traffic light. So here's the part that sounds like a sci-fi movie, but it's real. They use moonlight like a map. They're basically spiders with a built-in compass. They can tell the direction of the light, like a spider with a tiny GPS. It's like if you had a glow stick and could always find your way home. But wait, they don't just follow the light. They use it to find their prey. Imagine if your flashlight could also hunt you down. They can even tell how far away the light is, like a spider with a radar. It's like if your phone could tell where the sun was without looking. So yeah, they're basically light detecting pros. You can't really blame them for being a little bit creepy. They've got a whole glowing toolkit. So here's the first myth. Glow-in-the-dark spiders use their glow to navigate like a glowing compass. No, they don't. They just glow because they're super cool, and no one ever asks them how they find their way. They don't need to glow to find their way. They're just really good at sensing the world around them, like most spiders. Glow is more like a fashion statement than a survival skill. In fact, they use their legs, eyes, and even the air to figure out where they're going. Glow is just extra, like a neon sign at a gas station. It's flashy, but it doesn't help you drive. So if you ever see a glowing spider, don't assume it's a GPS. It's just a spider that likes to stand out, like the kid in class who always has glow sticks. Next time you see a glowing spider, just smile and say, cool, but I still don't know how you find your way. So here's the next myth, and it's basically a conspiracy theory. Someone said glow-in-the-dark spiders use their glow to navigate like a nightlight. But wait, do spiders even need to navigate? They're like, I'm in a cave, I'm fine. But then again, maybe they do use the glow. But now, if they're in the dark, how do they know where to go? Unless they're like, I'm just going to walk in a straight line until I fall off a wall. But here's the kicker, glow-in-the-dark spiders don't actually glow. They just absorb light and remit it. So it's not like they're carrying a flashlight. They're more like, I'm a walking disco ball, but I'm not dancing. So if they're not glowing, how do they navigate? Maybe they're just really good at feeling their way around. Like, I'm not seeing anything, but I can feel the air, and I'm good. In the end, glow-in-the-dark spiders are just spiders. They don't need a glow stick to find their way. They're like, I'm a spider, I'm in the dark, I'm fine. Maybe I'll just spin a web and hope someone gets caught. So you're probably wondering, where the heck is this glowy spider hiding? Well, it's not in your garden or your bathtub. It's in your fridge right next to the milk. Just kidding, but seriously, you've probably seen it in your own home. It's called a glow-in-the-dark spider, and it's basically the original bioluminescent superhero. Wait, you can't see it? That's because it's not actually glowing. It's just reflecting light from other sources, like a mirror, but with more spider vibes. So it's not glowing on its own, but it's still a cool trick, kind of like a disco ball spider. So where else could this be? Maybe in your ceiling, or in your closet. But honestly, you're more likely to find it in your own home than in the wild, because they're not really wild, they're just shy. Like, really shy. Like, they hide in your walls for fun. But here's the funny part, even though they glow, they're not super bright. They're more like a glow-in-the-dark sticker. You can't really use them to light up a room. But if you ever need to find your keys in the dark, they're like the spider version of a flashlight. Kinda. So, the next time you're in your house, look up, or look around. You never know when you might spot one. And if you do, just remember, it's not trying to scare you. It's just trying to find its way, like you're trying to find your way to the fridge. Same thing. So here's the kicker. Scientists actually found a glow-in-the-dark spider that uses its own light to navigate. It's like a spider with a tiny lantern, but way cooler. They watched it crawl around in the dark and noticed it kept its glowing parts facing forward, like a nightlight on a wall. It's not just glowing, it's aiming the light. And here's the wild part. It's not just glowing to light up the dark. It's using the light to find its way back to its web. Like a spider with a built-in GPS, but way more spider. So yeah, these spiders are basically walking light bulbs with a sense of direction. If you ever see one glowing in the dark, it's probably just trying to get home. So these spiders are like the Spider-Man of the dark, but with more glow and less cape. They can see in the dark better than a night vision goggles with a hangover. They're not just glowing, they're also super sensitive to vibrations, like a spider that can feel the floor shaking like it's on a roller coaster. They use their own glow to light up the path, but also use the light from the moon or other sources like a spider that's always checking the sky for a flashlight. Some of them are so good at this, they can navigate in pitch black without even blinking, like a spider that's been trained by a ninja master of darkness. It's like they're running on a glowing track, but with 8 legs and a lot more spider-like style. Okay, so the spider's glow is like a tiny disco ball, but it's actually a light-emitting diode made of proteins. But what if the disco ball runs out of batteries? Imagine your phone's flashlight flickering out in the middle of a dark forest. The spider's glow is going, and it's like a spider version of I'm out of juice. Now, if the spider can't see, it's like trying to walk a tightrope with your eyes closed and a broken compass. Total chaos. The spider might just stumble, tumble, and maybe even get eaten by a bigger spider. It's like a spider version of I'm not getting out of this one. So, even glowing spiders have their limits. But hey, at least they don't need to charge their phone. So yeah, glow-in-the-dark spiders are kinda cool. But there's a catch. They're not exactly the brightest lanterns in the cave. Sometimes their glow is so faint, it's like trying to read a bedtime story in a pitch-black room with only one candle. And here's the kicker. Their glow doesn't help them see. It's more like a tiny lantern for other spiders to find them. Imagine if you had a flashlight on your head, but it was so dim, you couldn't see anything. So while they're glowing like a disco ball in the dark, they're still basically blind. They rely on other senses like touch and smell, which is kind of like walking around with a broken flashlight and a nose that can only detect things if they're really close. It's like having a neon sign on your forehead, but you can't read the sign. And if you're a predator, that's basically a I'm tasty and defined sign. So in the end, the glow-in-the-dark spider's light is more of a social signal than a survival tool. It's like wearing a party hat in a funeral. You're trying to be seen, but you're also being hunted, which is why you'll never see a glow-in-the-dark spider on a survival guide. They're more like the class clown of the spider world, flashy, fun, and a little bit reckless. So, how did humans even figure out glow-in-the-dark spiders navigate? Well, it turns out it wasn't just a bunch of scientists staring into the dark with flashlights. They actually had to be really, really smart. Like, way smarter than your average spider. Turns out, they used this thing called a light trap. Basically a big jar with a light in it. The spiders would walk in, get confused by the light, and then scientists could watch them squirm. It was like a spider version of a game of tag. But then they realized something weird. The spiders didn't just walk straight into the light. They kept turning around, like they were trying to find a way out. It was like they were playing a video game where the light was the villain. So they started doing experiments, like putting the spiders in different rooms with different lights and watching what happened. It was basically like a spider version of a maze, but with more glitter. Eventually, they figured it out.